May Testnet updates alongside three most promising ecosystems, including MEgaETH, OG Labs, and Aztec, alongside a special something near the end of the video, so make sure to stick by till the end. Let's get started. And before everything, quick disclaimer. Testnets are an amazing tool to actually familiarize yourself with DeFi, with crypto in general, but in the last 2 years, they have not proven to be as profitable as mainnet airdrops. However, if you're just getting started and you don't want to risk your capital, this is a great way to get some crypto exposure, learn everything or majority of what's actually in DeFi possible, and actually set yourself up for future success. So it is important to manage your expectations accordingly, but it doesn't mean that there can be 5-figure airdrops from testnets as well. For example, Walrus was one example where some people in our Discord have made a serious amount of money from that airdrop. This is because SUI ecosystem is on fire for the last couple of months or maybe even a year. But again, the ecosystems we're going to be talking about today have the biggest chance of replicating testnet success. So let's go. First on the list is MEgaETH. MEgaETH is a project we covered already in the past briefly, but today we are happy to see that there's an ecosystem page where you can actually filter all of the live projects on testnet. We have identified a couple of the main ones, such as Valhalla Perpetual DEX, CAP, Stablecoin Protocol, and Capital Markets, World Capital Markets, which is unfortunately still in the waitlist phase, but if you sign up now, there's only a couple thousand people that should be ahead of you. One thing about testnets is if you want to showcase how it's actually going to look like for you when you're going to be doing them, I had to not use these apps at all before making this video, so it should be very fun to explore these things together. So let's start with Cap Money. This is supposed to be a Type 3 stablecoin, which means that it is supposed to have a self-governing tool using smart contracts to determine where the funds are going to be allocated instead of some DAO or whatever humans deciding how the funds are going to be sorted. So let's see how this looks like on MEgaETH testnet. First, we're going to go to MEgaETH testnet, and if you still don't have it in your chain, you will be able to add it directly using your Rabbit wallet or probably MetaMask as well. So let's see, we're going to get some testnet tokens, and once they're in the wallet, we'll continue. Also, from safety side of things, you should always use burner wallets for these testnet interactions because you never know if one of these is actually going to be exploited or something to put your real wallets at risk. So always use burner wallets, which means wallets you don't really use normally or that you just use for some testnet activities, but not wallets with thousands or even hundreds of dollars in funds. Right, so since I didn't actually have any MEgaETH before, we're going to get some testnet faucet tokens first. And we're going to do that on the testnet.megaeth.com under the faucet section. So once our wallet address is copy pasted, we're going to get some testnet ETH on the MEgaETH testnet. For now, this is the only activity you can do with CAP because the other mainnet activity, including minting of BCUSD from Ethereum mainnet using USDC on Ethereum mainnet, is currently not available. It says coming soon. And one thing about these Fluffle tools, you can actually use all of their guides on their website. They currently have 16 guides for all of these projects if you prefer a written format of learning. Now let's explore that we can actually use at the moment, and that is Valhalla, a perpetual DEX on MEgaETH testnet. At the moment, they are having some really good numbers. As of May 12th, in their first week, they already have more than 65k traders and over 2 billion in volume. So let's see how this works in practice. We're going to their official website, and here you will need to make an account. This is just a introductory part that unfortunately we have to go through, and here in the referral code you can either use one from your friend or we will use one that is going to be in the description of the video. However, just know that you actually need a referral code. You cannot join without it. Okay, this is a perfect example of why I'm not so bullish on testnets. So for the last 10 minutes I've been trying to get this thing to work. I've done hard refresh, disconnect the wallet, even tried a different browser, but nothing seems to be working, and this is a disclaimer they have literally on the website. Welcome to the first test of Valhalla. Please be aware that there will be downtime, unexpected behaviors, and that functionality will be added and improved before the release of the product. So in these situations, you can either move on to the next testnet or you can go to their Discord, try to figure out what's wrong, or just do a refresh of the clearing cache and everything. But in our case, since I know that this works because I've done it on another wallet, just this project before, I can tell you that it's a normal perpetual DEX in Testnet. You mint your tokens. Once you've had all of this set up, you simply mint your Valhalla USDC. You open market longs, shorts, limit longs, limit shorts. It's very straightforward. You can adjust leverage. Classic perpetual DEX. Just this setting up of my second account is just, yeah, it's something you have to deal with Testnets, and this is why some of them pay really well, but some of them are just like a bit of a headache.
Hey guys, we partner with What Exchange, one of the greatest decentralized exchange right now in the market. I love that you can see everything on your screen at once. You can connect to What Exchange from different mainnets, and you can see here the list of hundreds of tokens. They are continuously adding more tokens each week. And What Exchange has an active airdrop. They are going to distribute 30% of the total supply, guys, into this airdrop. So that is why I am super bullish trading here too. You can see here the point section that they added recently, so you can check everything about your progress on this airdrop. And in trading, you can see how many order tokens you earn because they have this payback system from the fees that you pay. Part of that goes back to you on order tokens. So check the link on the description to join to What Exchange, trade on the platform, participate on the airdrop of the 30% of the supply, and also get some order tokens back. All the links are in the description.
Now, the third one we're going to mention in the MEgaETH ecosystem is World Capital Markets. They're planning to be a fully on-chain exchange unifying spot, perpetuals, and lending all in one place. However, at the moment, they have a very long waiting list. At the moment, it's about 15,000 people, but if you refer friends, you might be up in the line. So yeah, this is going to be one of the targets and definitely worth doing because these kinds of exclusivity usually means a better airdrop. And if you're looking to do a little more activity with MEgaETH, you can also refer to Santiago's video from early April, where he covered many other projects also participating in their testnet. And finally, if you're around Brussels or maybe around Belgium next week, you also have a MEgaETH community meetup happening on Wednesday, May 21st at 6:30 p.m. In honorable mention for Magic Newton. Magic Newton is one of the better airdrop targets when it comes to testnets as well. Santiago has covered it in mid-April, and recently, a couple days ago, they came out with the idea of AI agents integrated in their project as well, which is very, very bullish for their future. Also, their partnerships with Kaito is something to be considered. Having said that, the airdrops and particularly testnets can be very, very overwhelming at certain moments, and the premium of being able to talk with people who are doing these in real time and actually communicate and discuss the best strategies is probably one of the things that's going to save you the most amount of time, because with testnets, you're not risking anything else other than your time. So if you want to maximize your time, maximize your efficiency, and talk with other people who are serious about testnets, then consider joining our Discord, because that is one of the places where you can get quality information in the most condensed period of time. All information about this is always in the first link of every video, all the plans, as well as an airdrop tracking application to help keep organized. And finally, the NFT collection, of course, is still going strong. We have had a little lower yield in the last couple of months, but we're hoping to return to 10% in stables as soon as possible and build a treasury to sustain throughout the bear market. All right, Aztec. So this was actually a project in mainnet about 2 years ago, but since then they have shut down, but they have raised a considerable amount of funds, and they did mention there's going to be a retroactive airdrop for people who were active in the past. However, now in their current testnet format, I couldn't even get the account abstracted wallet to be created, so probably we're going to have to do this one in the near future. So moving into the last project, it is OG Labs. For this one, Faucet is finally working again, so we can actually do some transactions. First of all, if you want to input the network manually, you can do so through their documentation, but by far the easier method to do so would be to simply connect with your wallet and have it input automatically. So once you've gotten your AOGI tokens, you're also going to need some of these Testnet USDT, and you can also get some of the, of course, ETH and BTC on OG Labs testnet. And you can play around with the swap functionality. This is as straightforward as it gets. Simply use some amount of tokens, swap around. Currently, the bridge is not working at the moment, but in the ecosystem tab, you can see that they have so many partners listed, but nothing really to do with these ecosystems. However, it is probably going to give us some more tasks in the future. One thing I will mention is that they do have this one Gravity NFT, which you can actually get on the OpenSea or Blur marketplaces. Currently, if you want to speculate on the NFT giving you an airdrop in the future, it is valued around 1 ETH at the moment, and these are incredibly volatile. If you remember, the Kaito NFT went up as high as 10 ETH, and now it's of course much lower. So these kinds of speculative airdrop NFTs are always a huge risk, because this is actually real money. It's not just testnet tokens that you're going to be using to buy this collection. It is only 1,888 NFTs, but still a very big risk nevertheless. And to wrap up with some rapid-fire testnet updates, if you're farming Somnia networks, you have 2 free NFT mints to mint. All the links are for everything will always be in the links of the description of this video. And if you're farming Sahara, you have CO upgrade coming on May 19th. And finally, if you are doing something with Espresso network, they are migrated to the proof of stake mechanism. And if you're planning to run a testnet node that has been very profitable in some cases, then you should definitely go through the documentation, or maybe choose a proxy service like EasyNode or some other. Promised non-testnet curiosity, we have something called imprint.brahma.finance. This is an NFT that actually evolves alongside your assets and DeFi activity. Very novel concept. It is free to mint, and I don't see any downside other than potential some security risk or exploit. But if you want to do this with some burner wallets, it is definitely an interesting concept. And to wrap up with Backpack, this is something that we are incredibly bullish for. So they have a 10-week season 1 campaign, similar to Hyperliquid did. They're going to be halving their points every single season. So you have last 2 or 3 weeks to finalize your volume and PNLs for season 1. And that is a wrap for all the testnet updates for today. If you like the content, make sure to like and subscribe, bell notifications on. Any questions, comments, I'm waiting for you in the comment section below and in our Discord. And as always, thanks for watching and have an amazing day.